send me into the world. Tumamina ezizweni. Oh, tumamina ezizweni. Tumamina ezizweni. Tumamina ezizweni ngizoya ngithandaze. Ezizweni ngizoya ngithandaze. Oh, tumamina ezizweni ngizoya ngithandaze. Tumamina ezizweni ngizoya ngithandaze. Good afternoon, good afternoon. It is Thursday indeed, and of course we are live on ITG Conversations. So the book of Isaiah 6 verse 8 says, "Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, here I am, send me." Mina ezizweni ngizoya ngithandaze. Welcome, Simo. Welcome, Thandekile. I have to be politically correct. We called you for such a long time. But now, yes, welcome to Thandekile. How are you guys?
We good. We good.
Yes, we are live.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah. Usimo, you want to say we are mna? Yeah, no. We Cassiologist, Simo, I should be saying Excel, who's it? So, as I did mention to you guys, this is a platform that is very spiritual. So I'm going to ask Sister Thandekile to open in prayer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mastandaze. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity that you are giving us, uNkulunkulu wami, ukuthi sikwazi ukukhuluma, sikhuluma ngalokho owaye ukuthi usithume kona. We thank you for being a faithful God through everything that we do, Lord. Siyazi ukuthi you are going with us, and with the conversations that we're about to embark on, Lord, be with us, that we speak the truth and we show the light of what the things that you want us to do, Lord. And we thank you once again for that we have woken up today to breathe and breathe light and breathe work in everything that we do. All of this we ask in your big and mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Thandekile. Guys, today we're talking social entrepreneurship. Okay, so maybe let me first give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves, because sometimes our bio and CVs and resumes, they don't do justice. So it's always good to give a person an opportunity. Jess, Thandekile.
Sanibonani nonke nina enisijoyinile namhlanje, siyabonga for this opportunity. Esisitholile ukuthi sikwazi ukukhuluma. Ezisekushiwe mina nguthandekile, uMamdletshe owaziwa futhi nangoJessica ke yona ke kuyiyona slave name, but kuyakwenzeka ukuthi waziwe ngawo wonke amagama oqanjwe wona nawo ke abalekile futhi. Mina ke ngiphuma kwaMashu originally. I'm also the Kasi girl njengoba uButsimo nje naye eshaya uKasi thing. So motivation enkulu is where you come from, and from that background yakaMashu, knowing ukuthi bengiphuma kubantu abakwazi ukwenza izinto eziningi, we founded iproject Enza, a platform ebikhuluma ekutheni zonke izinto ziyakwazi ukwenzeka as long as we do what we need to do. So I am representing Leo platform namhlanje. Obviously, background yami has been ikakhulukazi with tourism and hospitality industry. So at times when you do things, you try and align them to what you know best and see ukuthi lezo zinto zingasizakala kanjani. So whilst Project Enza is called Project Enza, we are about doing good and doing good things, not only limited to the expertise of what I know within the industry, but everything else engakwazi ukusiza umphakathi wethu. Ngoba sesivuleke with the word usisodwa, ngithanda nje ukuthi uNkulunkulu yes works in mysterious ways. Ngithe ngivula i-diary yami namhlanje ithi 1 Peter 2 verse 9. You are the chosen by God, chosen for the high calling of priestly work, chosen to be holy people, God's instruments to do his work and speak out for him, to tell others of the night and day difference he made for you. And I like this because you do what you do because you know the difference a lot of people have done for you in your work. And I think that is what has inspired me kuyona le social entrepreneurship as a project ender. So it's spreading that word in doing good from the things that people have also done for me.
Wow, wow, wow. That's a mouthful. I like how the Holy Spirit works, you know, opening a diary. Here it is, just today, you know, everything is always aligned for his purpose. Seemore, you're outnumbered. My brother, Usisi Okhuluma Njengamanje, is also from Esinqawunqawini kaMashu. So let's hear again what the guy from Claremont has introduction.
All right. Seemore Waganzama, well known as Seemore Possibilities. But today, Ikamalami Wuton, I am the thorn among the beautiful roses. The thorn from Claremont, but it's okay, it's all good. Thank you very much, Sizota, for this particular platform. Thank you very much for whatever we do, we need to connect with the men above, because I can just zenzela yona. Uma ngabe sokwenza ngokuhlakanipha kwethu, then sizophuma endleleni. Ngiyabonga, I really respect you, Sizota. And then bese ngibonga kakhulu usisi uJessica. Ngithema ngabe ngithi ngiyaguglisha izolo, ngathi ngiyacheck here and there. Then ngathola into akwayiposta ngo-2016. I think based ku Mark 5 verse 36, which said something about trusting instead of fearing. And in poster on Facebook, then there were 2 people abakhulume ngawe kahle bathi, listen, pass our regards to the lady called Jessica. She's smart, she's all that. So now ngizizwa ngiyi-warm because ngiphathi kwabantu abawu-2 engibahlonipha ngendlela eyisimangaliso. Thank you very much. I'm a social entrepreneur, which simply means that we are all about promoting social intelligence. The idea ukwenza ukuthi sicabange kangcono, because siphila emhlabeni is quite hectic, yabo, but we need to have our thoughts purified so that we can align ourselves, because silamba sihlushekiswa. And then bese sithola senze izinto eziningi, uthola ukuthi abantu they are loaded, they have so much money, but unfortunately bashawa ilento ukuthi kune vacuum, umuntu akazi into yakhe. So i-social entrepreneurship, it's my game. Ayikho into engijabulisa njengokubona omunye umuntu ejabule. Mangibona omunye umuntu ejabule ngizwe ngathi nemali eningi ebank, noma ngabe kuthiwa ayikho, ngiyanithanda.
So thank you so much, guys, for that introduction. So perhaps maybe let's start with you know, definitions, because there could be someone out there who is watching this conversation and they are trying to figure out what's it. Social entrepreneurship. I had to go and study last year, now just so that I could, you know, figure it out. And it's been a beautiful ride for me because I'm obviously used to being in a for-profit making business. So now the switch over to the non-profit making space, because I'm also at a point whereby I'd like to contribute more to social change and contributing more to the society. According to you, and it really is according to you, it doesn't have to be an academic. Let me not sort of, when we're talking academics, it doesn't have to be an academic definition. It's just according to you. What is social entrepreneurship, Thandekile?
I'd like to say that, and everyone who's listening, I like the fact that social entrepreneurship is very linked to philanthropy. And I find that kunama linkages there. And if we look deep into what philanthropy means, it says phil means love, and then uentro means human. So what we do is because of love and the human part. And kumnandi lokhu because thina ma-African ikakhulukazi siyayazi leyo nto of being human. Yona social entrepreneurship kade yaqala. Ayizange nje iqale ngoba thina sesikhona. Into evele sikhule yenzeka ikhona siyibona. As years have gone by, it has been something that has been formalized. But sifunde kubona omama, ogogo, auntie, osisi, khona la esisuka khona. So to me, I think I would like to base it on the fact that it's linked to uthando and the human part of it, because sonke we do need in some way or the other to show love and receive love for us to be able to do a lot of things. And then all the other technicalities, the social entrepreneurship, iba more visible. But for me, the crux of it and how I understand it is the fact that it is linked to philanthropy, right? And that, if you look at it, it is about love and the human element. So that's what I'd like to sort of say, base it on.
Beautiful. It begins and it ends with love, as according to you, Thandekile. My brother Seemore, according to you, social entrepreneurship.
All right. Into a social entrepreneurship, it revolves around something called Ubuntu, right? We as Africans, we are well known of something called Ubuntu, ukuthi I am because we are, right? Therefore, into ekade yabakhona back in the days, and you'll find that abanye abantu, they've forgotten how to help other people. You help not necessarily that you are expecting something in return. There is something which is something which has to do with the fulfillment. When you extend that particular hand, when you help someone without expecting anything in return, there is something that you get afterwards, which is the feeling called fulfillment, right? You remember earlier on I said something that when I help someone, when I make someone to smile and stuff like that, when I become the miracle to somebody else, I just feel differently. I feel full, as if I'm loaded. You know what I'm saying? So into a social entrepreneurship, yes, it does have the element of entrepreneurship, but where it starts, when there isn't or without expecting anything in return, and when you do those things, the man above compensates. Ngenzela ukuthi abantu bangathi venture into this being driven by the so-called mali kakhulu. It comes from the heart. In fact, you receive messages from the men above. Remember, you said something about Isaiah, Uguti. I heard the Lord. It's about hearing, you know what I'm saying? So, ukulalela ukuzwa uNkulunkulu, it's something that is so deep. Abantu abahlulayo ukuthi khona uNkulunkulu ayikhuluma nathi every day. So, if you can listen attentively and act accordingly, then all of that, it forms part of a social entrepreneurship.
All right. So now both of you actually used to, oh my goodness, what's happening here? Wow, something happened. What was the engine? It just disappeared.
Technology.
Yeah, well, yay, technology. Yeah, no, it's been one of those days indeed. Sorry, guys, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
All right, okay, cool. So what I wanted to
Definitely.
touch on is the fact that both of you used to work in a corporate space, and then eventually you decided to venture into this space. So Tandegile, you left that space and gravitated more towards the social space. What does it take to actually even do that when we're also concerned about sizophila kanjani? Ngoba, as my brother was saying, Gosimo, you don't know if you actually even are going to have income, but because you are driven by what's driving you, you are confident that indeed you can go ahead, but like it must take a lot though.
Most definitely.
It definitely does. And I think the drive comes whilst you're still working. I think most companies or corporates and Joba Connect to iKhono CSIs and all of those things, every organization will have some way of doing something that is good. But starting this was also because Jobeshilo Upotsimo, and it's part of my 10 Fs I always talk about, is the fulfillment. At the end of the day, we can do as much as we can and earn as much as we can and lose the earnings as well. And life has a lot of ups and downs, and I've been through all those ups and downs. But one fulfillment is knowing that you're doing something that doesn't take you getting any physical reward, but know what you can make that difference. So it was a no-brainer for me, especially with the background, Jobasa Shilo, of knowing Guguti, you want to spread love where you can. And possibly, if it's not just about love, it's spreading positivity in terms of making sure people become the best that they can. I can say I haven't reached to the levels of what I know God has for me, but it does not mean, Nuguti, I can't start walking the journey step by step whilst impacting other people to get to those levels. And so it was just, for me, a natural progression to make sure, Guti, let me take up the space and use it in a useful manner that will then grow others, whilst I myself also grow as well.
Perfect. What's Simo?
Yes, yes.
A banking environment, development, finance, and straight to the, I remember when I got your email, the first one was like, I took email. So what did it take for you? Okay, I think.
All right. This is Zodwa. When I was working for the bank, I don't really think that I was an employee. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm saying when I was working for the bank, I was not the employee, right? I was something called a deployee. I was deployed by the men above to work there. But I did not know that when I started working for the bank, because for me, it was all about working and earning a salary at the end of the month. And it was about me wearing a long sleeve shirt, looking proper and being respected in the community because Umfana Waganzam is working in the bank, right? But as I grew into something called the spirituality, I therefore realized that I was placed by the men above in that space because the idea was to help people, right? Remember that we were granting people bonds, right? So my role in the bank was more into listening to people more than talking. And then when listening to them, my role was to put the papers together, to play around the figures and adjust the figures for them to get the so-called bonds. This is the most important part, Sizodwa. It was me receiving the feedback from the credit control department when they would say, Simo, please be advised that the bond for Mr. or Miss or Mrs. So and so has been granted. It has been approved. That alone, me sharing those news to any client, it would make me feel satisfied. And that's where I realized that, oh, my role or the reason why I was at the bank was not about me getting paid and so forth. It was about me helping other people and the feeling that I would feel after helping other people. So that was my take from the bank. Then fast forward, there was something called NCA, National Credit Act, that came into existence. I think it was 2009, if I'm not mistaken. When it came, it made policies to be more stringent. The bank was starting to decline more than approving the bonds. Then I had a strange feeling where I was like not satisfied because I felt like I was the barrier of bad news. Now I was starting to tell people that their bonds were declined more than telling them that they were approved. That's when I sat down and I said to myself, I'm now not happy for telling people that they are declined. What more can I do that will make me tell people good news? That's where the Seemore possibilities came into existence.
All right, it's amazing. It's a very interesting story. You did not want to be the bearer of bad news. I mean, like, interesting term, you were a deployee. I wonder if people actually ever take time to think about why they are in particular environments, like
Right.
just reflect and think deeper as to why you are in a certain space, because these things are never really random. There's always a reason why we are in particular spaces, but maybe that's a conversation for another day. So, Kandagile, you've always been passionate about the tourism space. And obviously this is how Project Enza was formed. Can you maybe tell us what Project Enza is, and perhaps then touch on what the situation or would be the role of Project Enza currently as we are experiencing this lockdown period in essentially South Africa, the continent, and in the world?
So as a project Enza we're about doing things that can change people's lives. And when I say change people's lives, it's not only just by isn't as tangible, because yes, you can say you're a giver and a doer, but sometimes it takes you just sitting down with someone who to understand the different perspectives of what's happening. And being in an industry that was predominantly and still is of the other color, and the tourism industry kind of growing fast paced as it has been since 1994, I saw a huge need of exposure and education. And it was imperative for us to expose, especially educators from the schools, Abatfundisai tourism and hospitality, including the universities as well. So we were finding that a lot of the educators were teaching the subjects that they're teaching within tourism and hospitality, but the actual information and the feel and understanding of what goes on in the industry, it was very minimal. So whilst I was still in corporate, I'd find I'd have to expose people to what a hotel room looks like, for instance, what is done there, what is the events that happen in conference rooms, conference facilities, etc., etc. So it all started there, whereby people get to understand things when they are exposed to them and get to also experience them, and it changes your mind shift altogether. So that's how we started what we did. And obviously, when you are and then you have been in the industry, you have a lot of networks, because a lot of what we do, we can't do it by ourselves, but we can achieve it with partners that we work closely with. So I had to look at the fact that over the years of only being in this industry, I've worked with so many powerful individuals that have worked for hotel groups and different sectors within the tourism industry. How can those people play a role? Because abanye babo bayafuna ukwenza things, but hey, you know, indaba ukuthi ngizoqala manje ngizama ukwenza ukuthi, they just want somebody who already has this idea, but they will have some valuable input. And so that's where I saw there was a gap, and they're always willing to share their expertise. And just by engaging, it changes a lot for individuals. So that's what we are doing. And obviously now, with a lot of innovation that's taking place, we now need to look at different ways and strategies of how we are educating, particularly youth and women, as to how are we gonna make it in this new world of technology and information, and really making it out there, because now the strategy of how we used to do things is gonna definitely change. I mean, COVID has just shown us that right now.
All right. My brother Seemore, see more possibilities. Each one. Cardiologist. Those are, I am the energy. I'm an African. I'm a global citizen. My hashtags are that I always see when you are posting something. And then of course, Vosho. How I wish we had an opportunity for you to Vosho. Maybe we'll do that at the end. And you can teach our viewers how to actually do ivosho, nevosho le efunde multiracial yabona le yasemshadweni. See more possibilities. So what what do you do?
All right. We promote something called social intelligence, right? But we recently discovered that we also need to deal with the issue of the emotional intelligence. I'm from the township, and when you go around the township, you can clearly see that most of the people are, I wouldn't like to say that they're depressed, right? But they are just surviving, you know, you just wake up, do the routine and stuff like that. And in the township, you'll find that most of the people, they don't know their strengths, right? Like right now, I feel like I can say, Sizodwa umuhle, right? And then Sis Jessica, you've got beautiful eyes, right? That is something that is too little, but it's part of the deal. It's the compliment. It goes a long way. Sometimes you come across people that haven't been told that they are great, you know, people that haven't received any compliment, and then they die empty simply because we don't compliment each other. So that's where it starts. Our role is to help people to discover their limitless potential. So these are the things that we usually do. Like I'm sure you know the Coffee with Seemore, whereby I just invite the youth and I spend some time with them and have like some sort of like conversations. The idea is to help them to channel the energies, right? So that's the role that we play. We do quite a number of things. Like for instance, I also spend some time with the ex-convicts, the correctional services. They give me the list of those that are going to be released. I sit down with them. The idea is to give them the inside scoop of life, because some of others have already left for quite some time. And I also spend some time with guys that are in movement, the so-called para and so forth. We help them to change the thinking capacity, and the township, whereby we provide insightful conversation. We guys, we don't talk. Like masifika boshisa nyama sihleli siplomile, but asibuzani tiny little things. Sizodwa, how are you? How are you doing? How do I achieve A, B, and C? So what we do, we always ask those that have done well for themselves, we ask them to come back into the township and share the winning formula, because the idea is to make sure that we create more positivity, we create more graduates, we create more people that are more interested into starting businesses and so forth. So that's our role.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mm.
Just that,
Mm.
I'm like, yay! You've
Exactly.
made my day, because no one has told me that today, by the way. So can you imagine? It's
Yeah.
powerful, because I think we all just walk around not paying
Mm.
attention because everybody is busy doing their own thing. But just that one compliment can make a big difference. I like that. I really honestly like what you are saying, but I mean, I think it's even more important in an environment where people are just surviving, because just by paying that compliment, you just change the whole thing. And of course, inviting people, as you say, that have made it, but that, like, I can imagine me going back to Wamash, where I grew up, just to, share my story, because it's my story, no one can dispute my story. And that obviously will inspire a lot of people. What I found, though, in my short journey in this space of social entrepreneurship, because we also do have a foundation as iKhono, and it's sort of fashioned to be like a social enterprise. It's access to funding. All the projects that we're doing, it really comes from the profit-making business, and it pours into the non-profit making entity. And it's a struggle. I mean, just this morning, we hosted a powerful session, a seminar for the youth, because we want our youth to thrive even during this time. But funding, dololo.
It's okay.
Guys, how are you navigating that one?
I like what you're saying, Suzette, because at the end of the day, if you start this thinking, you will get the support, it won't work. So try to do as much as you can with the little that you can. Because most of the support that we have gotten during the journey, I think we started 2014, but with no funding, as you said. And one of the lessons there was, don't start too big, start small with the little that you have and keep going. And those partners come when they can see, we would say, okay, khona lento ebashintshayo labantu, and it comes at its own time. But when it does come, it makes even a greater impact. But it's about starting small with what you have. It's coming from your profit-making business. The same happened to me, where I had to take from what I was earning. It was difficult because you're taking from what the home is supposed to also be receiving. But at the same time, I had to dig deep to say, God, what are you telling me? If you say I need to do this, I need to do it. And he then comes through in his own way to cover the patches. So yes, funding is available, but nakhona, it's also understanding the processes of how to get it. I found because I was just driven, I thought, hey, I need to do this, but the process of getting to formally register these the entities, and making sure what you are compliant enough to be able to get the donors and all those supports, you need to have all of that in place. And that requires time as well. It requires a lot of education in the process into knowing how to do all of that. So it needs you to be very, very well learned to know ukuthi la sekufuneka ngenze kanje. And it takes a lot of engaging as well from those that have started it as well. But it's gotta not be a demotivator, because a lot of people say, "Way, you won't find dololo." But inqola ehambayo kufuneka iqhubeke njengoba nina nendile with no funding. But those that will join you will join knowing ukuthi these people did impact. So we'd like to join their own.
Thank you. Okay, that will, it's energizing. Because I'm sitting here thinking, why we have to like spend so much energy, so much time, resources. But again, it comes from that space of love, as you were saying. Because even if you feel like, no, you know what, I'm not sure, but then Simo, you were very emphatic about the voice from above, from the men above. So you can't ignore it, you know, when it's just it's there, when it's there, and there's nothing much you can do about it. So my brother, funding.
All right, fine. Let me be brutally honest with you. I don't know, maybe like I'm a bit weird. I haven't been focusing more into funding, right? The Seemore possibility, it is registered and stuff like, but I don't know. I think I like to see the impact more than, you know, the couple of friends, right? And what I do, for me, it becomes the magnet for other things that I do, right? Let me make a practical example, because like I strongly believe that we are talking about nabantu abancane lana bangangeni into this thinking that bazoba millionaires.
Of course
you
not.
do Yes, you do tiny little things and then allow the men above to work with you. Okay, let me get into the story. Not so long ago, I was at home during this thing called lockdown, right? And I must be honest, I was kind of like suffocating because I have so much energy, right? And this energy was so contained, you know, like the walls around me, I couldn't move, I couldn't do so much. Then this is what I had to do. I called another department, right? Say facilities. And then I told them that, listen, I want to spend some time with the homeless people. What do I do? Then they said, listen, you called us at the right time. You know what? Like right now, these people that are on the street, they are now becoming a bit grumpy, right? I think that we need someone with your kind of like the approach. Then I gave them the ID numbers and so forth. Then I got the so-called permit. Then I was starting like spending some time with the homeless. What I've been doing, I wasn't expecting even like, you know, I wasn't expecting anything. I was doing out of love, because just to see those people laughing, smiling and so forth, for me, that was it. Then here comes the magic. While I was doing that, another department called Parks, Recreation and Culture called me and said, hey, listen, we can see what we are doing. We have a plan. We want to interact with those people, but we want you to facilitate. How much will it be to do that? So, like, I hope it does make sense. When I started, I wasn't expecting anything, and then somewhere along the way, I ended up doing a couple of friends, which means it's the God's grace. So I want to encourage people that when you think about these things, you become magnets, you attract things. I resigned at about 2011. I've never been hungry. God has taken care of me, just like the birds. You remember, like there's this verse, Matthew 6, verse 26, that goes like, look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. That's me, Nyapila, through this. If funding is on figure somewhere along the way, but I'm not there. I'm doing this just for the love of people.
Okay, Kala.
Yeah.
If you've got the love for it, Kala.
Yeah.
Okay. So we needed that encouragement, because I think, like I was saying, that we sometimes, like, it's a lot of resources that you need to actually, even for starting. And yeah, it can only be driven by love, I must say. I think just from, you know, we've done quite a few things as iKhono Foundation, and we're good, because I mean, like, we know why we're doing this. It's more for us. That's ministry, you know. But I think it's important to touch on the issue of funding, because also you want, if it's a social entrepreneur, you know, entrepreneurship, there is an element of business there. So, and also you want it to be sustainable, hey? You don't want a situation whereby you have an organization today and then 5 years down the line, it's no longer moving. So you need to be able to have all these elements in place to make sure, because it's also a legacy kind of a building situation, if you ask me. So I think the question of funding is important. Let me go to our Facebook page and see what our viewers are saying today. Send me. Umfundisi Thomas Khatebe is saying that was amazing. He remembered what you posted 5 years ago. And then Usis Toto Kumbi is saying, love is the best. Oh, love is the base, and Ubuntu. Oh, I named my daughter on Ubuntu, and God, she leaves the name. And Pumzile Majola, who runs the iKhono Foundation, says it is important to know your why. In this space, it's very important to know your why. That's even captured in the academic space when it comes to social entrepreneurship. Because if you don't know your why, then you're gonna have a challenge. And Uputus Buma, so I think in Pincha deploy my brother. Live in God's plan, Pansula Lagiti, serving your purpose through love. You are a true servant to a better world. That's a compliment for you, my brother.
Thank you very much.
And then Uputi Mobila Payam, one of the deployees at iKhono, saying, after doing everything in our daily lives, there has to be that part of our lives where we give back. It's that personal agreement or deal with God. We make with God fulfillment and blessings, hundreds. Right? And then, of course, he goes on to quote Ives, at iKhono. I have to say that. It's our daily bread. You know, before we started this conversation, I was playing Fred Hammond, Bread of Life, because indeed he is the bread of life. And so he quotes 1 Peter 4, verse 10. Let me check if there are any other questions, perhaps, because I think it's also important to see if there are any questions so that you guys can respond to those questions. I'd Matthew 6, verse 26, God is faithful. Okay. And of course, he says, we walk by faith and not by sight. It's the only way. I think in this space of social entrepreneurship, it's the only way. You have to walk by faith. It can never be by sight, because then you will never get to where you're supposed to get. All right, so I thought I'd like to encourage our viewers to actually ask questions. I think if you have questions, please feel free to ask the question so that I can address it to our guests today. All right, okay. So Thandekile, in terms of impact, what sort of impact are you seeing since Project Enza started? I mean, we are both in an industry that I am also passionate about. You are also passionate about the tourism space, the impact.
Oh, I love the impact, and it's correct, is that it's important to be able to measure the impact. Obviously, we deal with youth, in between. But the impact is always different, because abanye bafuna umsebenzi, abanye they're still just trying to understand this whole industry on its own. But what I've liked kakhulu is seeing those that have never been exposed to the industry being there and doing the work. I'd like to mention, obviously, Wuti, based on working with partners, we are then able to, even through the likes of you, iKhono, take on those students. Manenza ama conferences amakhulu. Abanye babo, they volunteer, and it takes just that opportunity for them. Ukuthi eThekwini kune conference enkulu. I'll make an example. For instance, you did one biotech type of conference where we got those students to come and volunteer. But in that volunteering, you still did some kind of a certificate to say you have worked at this big conference and you now have some kind of tangible experience that contributes to your work. So I like the fact that most of those that we impact via partners like yourself, they then go home with tangibles to say, and this is what it was like. Obviously, part of that, we then have to mentor them on the job, which is also very interesting because you get to see different attitudes of youth as now. Some of them come from different mindsets, and when you engage them, and especially in the workforce, because the same youth needs to go and apply for jobs, and I know, especially in industry, tourism, a lot of the entities say they would rather employ for attitude and train for skill, because attitude goes a long way. And when we are making that impact, we are able to also tell them these things in the real, to say, listen, maybe your attitude is not the right one for this industry. If you be doing this and if you want to go far, you need to start changing how you're going to do, because these people that you're going to be working with, this is the type of attitude that they need. So the impact has been nice in that you also give them the opportunity, but whilst they're also having given that opportunity, you're able to correct some of the things that they might not see because they don't know any better. They just behind the desk at Turkey or at TVET college or wherever they are, and they don't know what is expected of them. So it's always nice to be able to also engage them during the impact that we are able to see. And that's also being over the years, which has been very nice to be able to see, and also getting their feedback in the workplace with expose to such a hotel, because now you understand better where do I fit within this mix of tourism, what is it and see myself in. So that has been very rewarding to see happen.
Wow, that's amazing. It's actually very interesting. You know, you mentioned something that one would probably not even think of, you know, ordinarily, that a child that is studying tourism, chances are they may not have had an opportunity to even go into a hotel and just get to understand how a hotel functions, let alone an international convention center. So yeah, this is very important. We like what you do. Just to also mention something that I think is very important, the attitude, you know, because it really does determine your altitude, you know. If you have the wrong attitude, you know, chances are you're really not going to make it in life, even more so in the tourism hospitality space. You know, when I started my business, I was told that, you know, it's a thankless job. So you can work 24 hours and chances are no one is going to say thank you. So you're not going to come back home crying. Just get on with the program. And I've been able to get on with the program ever since, you know, which is why I'm still standing. It's that kind of attitude. I mean, like this morning, I can just say that as far as I'm concerned, it was like really hectic, you know. But then I had to switch very quickly because we have these conversations, you know, back to to making sure that we're moving on, you know, because yeah, it's the attitude. I just needed to amplify that. But one put sim, the impact. You know, you've already mentioned some of the things, but I think impact is very important, you know, for us to be able to make the impact in what we do.
Yeah, the impact, it's there, and I'm happy to simply say that I see results day in, day out. But yeah, I think we need more platforms of this nature, simply because there's so much that needs to be done, right? When you look around, you can clearly see that people are at 6s and 7s, and we need to unite more. Like right now, it's the trio. It's you, Sister Jessica, and I. We need to take this thing to another level, whereby we go to Guamashu and Skogamategu etu. That the thing called social distancing. But if we can touch at least 49 people or even less, just to help them to think differently, because like right now we are going through tough times, right? Jobs, we will see more of our retrenchments. The economy is kind of like backsliding and so forth. Everyone is confused. We don't know what to do, whether we use the right or the left foot or something like that. So our role, this trio, can we agree on getting into one of the townships or any other place, like 10 people, like to be close to people, then we'll see much more of the impact. That's what we need to do, good people. Then, yeah, because I strongly believe that people, they don't know what to do. Even myself, I was caught up in a space whereby I did not know that what to do without weddings, what to do without being an MC. But hey, through this social entrepreneurship, I'm surviving, I'm okay, I'm sailing, right? So yeah, that's all what I can ask for. Let's unite more, let's create more impact.
Let's unite more, let's create more impact. So like sifaka amateko siye lokishini manje ziyasha. And I must say, I really have to appreciate, because each time, I remember when we were supporting one of our associate friends last year, Guamashu for the youth, but I mean it was obviously linked to Immense Man Ubabu Ufaya for Ifugansizwa. You were just like, yeah, it's all, you know, that Tumamina spirit.
Yeah.
We just call you and you are there. And I do believe that us having you know, done that gathering and the information that was shared that day, it changed. I think it changed a lot of lives, especially when it comes to the boy child, because I think a lot of emphasis has been on girl children, and then the boys get left out. So yeah, we are heading into July, so maybe we need to touch base again with Uba Fire and hear what is he, you know, what does he have in mind, you know, so that probably we can just, you know, do a follow through on that session. Let me go back to our Facebook page and see if we've got any other questions or comments. All right, Usisu Nobuntu Webster, who was in this platform a few weeks ago talking about Christianity in Africa. It was very interesting. If you haven't seen it, I'm talking to the people who are watching us, go back to our timeline or to our YouTube page and check it out. So she says, as a nation, if we change small things like our language from jobs to work, young mindsets will begin to be transformed, and the exposure such as organizations give young people will go a long way. Young people will be able to do more with the knowledge and exposure gained. So much respect for Jess and Simo on the credible work. So that's a compliment for you guys. So, it's not that bad. People are seeing and appreciating what you do. So if it comes from love, honestly, it really does flow. So Upodisbu Masoga Lapana is saying, when or how will the township economy be unpacked and introduced to our future leaders? Abantwana bethu, the township economy, especially for the youth. Do you guys want to touch that briefly on the township economy? Because I mean, you know, social entrepreneurship is also about, you know, solving social issues, you know, in an enterprise format, you know, so perhaps it is something that should be preached more, you know, in the spaces whereby it's needed, so that the drive and the change comes from within those communities.
Right. All right, yeah, cool. Thank you very much, Siswam. When we talk about the township economy, it's something that is so close to my heart, right? Because we are right there, and you see so many people, and we are some sort of like a states, right? And we consume most of the time instead of producing, right? Therefore, collaboration that can enable such things where we need to start conversation about producing, manufacturing. Like right now, good people, I'll just make a practical example. The t-shirt I'm wearing, it has my face, right? This is my face. It's the decision that I took during a lockdown that you will never ever see me wearing designer brands, you know? I will never ever wear something that is designed by Mr. So and so who doesn't know me, who can wear this t-shirt of mine. That's where it begins. Let me love Intoka Sis Zodwa, let me love Intoka Sis Jessica, so that we can try our level best to support and sustain each other. Otherwise, if we don't, we'll keep on consuming. So we can work around that. We are not saying that we should not buy other products. Yes, we should, but I want to wear something written Jessica. I want to wear something written Uzodwa Wetu, Uzodwa, the enabler, right? Because we have different Zodwas, but this one is an enabler. So those are the things. Let's create our own brands and love them so that we can, so that we can see the money circulation. Otherwise, we'll forever be the spectators. We'll be looking instead of being more practical. That is my take. So we can work hand in hand. This union today, for me, it's like the marriage. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to be working hand in hand. I don't know, but it's a plea. But I know Sizota won't say no, it can't happen. And yeah, she's very much flexible.
It's like a marriage. When I'm thinking about Timalobol.
Yeah, I know. Lord will take care of that.
Okay, Tandegil.
Economy. I know, Guti, one of the things we celebrate is World Tourism Day. And just recently, last year, we got an opportunity to go and have it at a location whereby it's run, obviously, as a hospitality restaurant, one of the ones that have been winning lots of accolades. So we took the same youth to say to them, you start where you come from as well. Nothing stops you from doing everything that you've ever dreamt of to world standards in your own community. So it's doing things more practical instead of us now only using hotels. Yes, we need to expose them, but we need to also expose them to the same establishments, Asebe, Wakalile, or Maxi, and the many, even Kwamashu, Atizini Corner. And so then from there, we plant a seed of saying, okay, we see there's this facility. Maybe now we can start having conference facilities because when utanda ukuba space conferencing, so that people can also be exposed to experiencing a conference setup in a township, for instance. So I like that we have been able to take them and say, look at tangible examples with people are running businesses, and it's possible for you and your business to make it also known internationally and get awards like how Max has in his space. And we went there. I know you we were there doing a proper conference called Nagamex. So it was giving them a different outlook as to, it's not about just but you can also gather there and do things that are more productive than just the leisure part of it. So I think, yes, I am really wanting to see how we can grow our township economy to really create more business people. I think Nonobuntu has also said there, we expose them, but let's not talk about jobs pen. Within the same youth, a lot of them are so creative that we want them to run their own businesses. We want them to be the future hotel owners. And so that's what we're trying to drive. If it didn't happen for me, it's got to happen for them. So that's what we're trying to drive.
All right, perfect. So did you want to say something, Simo?
All right, yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. Now that we are talking about this, it may look like it's a bit of a detour, but this is social entrepreneurship because it's the enlightenment. you know, you are helping other people to think differently. Now that we are talking, I foresee something different, Zodwa, like a container, like just a container. It could be like 6 meters by 3 in the township. That container written iKhono Enza Seemore, right? iKhono Enza Seemore. That container will help the little ones so that they may not use taxis to reach us, right? We need to be reachable in the township, in the neighborhood. That container has to be beautiful. It has to be attractive. It must have the Wi-Fi and so forth. I don't believe we can have that container. We can get there as and when. We can have the schedule. That is Zodwa. You can only see her twice a month. She'll be sitting right there, waiting to listen to other people, to convert queries into something tangible. Then another week, we have Sister Jessica. Then another week, it's Putsimo, and so forth. Maybe another week, we ask people like about, maybe like Sandile Zungu and so forth. Bob Zungu, could you please go there and just chill and lend an ear? Then that's where we can see impact, right? So we need to be more practical, but it's okay. I was just saying. Enza Seemore. Yeah. Enza.
I also like that, because basically what you're saying is we need to start building stronger relations with our communities. And then I think that's where it starts. Once they feel there are those relations and they are stronger, then we can see even more tangible results within our own communities and our gases.
Exactly.
Amazing. It's in iKhono Enza Seemore.
Yeah, iKhono Enza Seemore.
I like it. I love it. In fact, no, like it's easy. I think we need to have a conversation then after this. Container, so it's all like bad. You know, somebody needs to probably donate the container. It's doable. I mean, it's possible because you make time for the things that you love. You make time for me, for you, for all of us, the three of us here. We definitely will make time for anything that's going to make another person's life better. You know, I think that's just who we are, and you know, extending ourselves to other people. I think it really comes natural, and it's really possible. You know, it's really possible, and I think it's going to be important for us to explore it further and see what can be done. You know, the other thing that I'm taking is you know, making sure that we collaborate more and actually have more of these conversations. Because it's for us at iKhono now, the profit-making entity, it's a resident skill to put together, you know, conversations of whatever nature, you know. So it is, even during this lockdown, it can be done. We just obviously had our youth session this morning for iKhono Foundation, and so it really is possible. We just have to do it. Guys, let me allow you an opportunity for a parting shot, whatever that maybe didn't come through in questions, or that you would like to say as a parting shot. And whilst doing that, also share where can you be reached, probably your social media handles as well. Jess,
I think I would like to just say once again, thank you for this opportunity. You know, Njengoba Putsimo was saying, you know, the lockdown showed us so many things where you also got time to kind of really think about how do I make an impact in lockdown. But thank you for coming up with this platform. What I'd like to say to people that want to get into this kind of social entrepreneurship is to listen to your still voice. It's very, very, very important. And what I've also learned is that you need to keep dreaming. And I know a lot of ideas, in my case, come during sleep. So also think about the dreams that you normally dream of, because they'll keep knocking and knocking until you start doing what you need to do. So listen to all those little, there's always these little signs uNkulunkulu asendela wona indirectly, and so try and listen to all those things. And I know a lot of us have been through so much, and as it is, a lot of women are going through so much, and we not only just do this because we're just doing it, we look at all the social ills that we deal with. And if there's a way of helping another woman, another man, it's important. So I always say to them, I am in spite of what I've been through. So give them that hope, whatever you might have gone through, you are, and you're bigger than that. Stay by being your own motivation. Whatever you've been through, let it be that motivation to keep you going, to get you started, to say, I would have overcome this. I think what I also like and I've seen is that mental diet is so, so important. Lockdown has also shown us how important mental diet is, because a lot of us, signs of depression suddenly pop up and all those sort of things. So it's very, very important that your mental diet is in line with what your dreams and desires are. So feed yourself the right attitude, say it and repeat it time and time and time again, because uNkulunkulu njengoba esuke seyiplantile leyo nto ufuna ukuthi uyenze, uSathane will come with his own ways of trying to bring you down, but speak a lot of it, you know, and find stimulants like books, proper networks, you know, social media, I love it, but it's also important to follow the people, or the people that only give you the best of you, and that you will only get the best of what you want to be, Diona. So stimulants are very, very important. And intentionally, I like it, because you need to intentionally lift or uplift yourself. And then from that, you are able to further lift others, because the more you do this intentionally, the better that it is. So let's continue doing things that are impactful. These are our communities where we've come from. Basenzela our mama no gogo abawenza ma example. It's the same ones that have made great beings that we know, that we are proud of. So let's steer hope for a better tomorrow together. And lastly, I'd like to say, let's keep doing. And all you do is keep doing. And through that, you yourself, you keep learning as well. But asenze.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much, Jess. That was a mouthful. Your social media handles, Project Enza.
Siyatholakala at Project Enza, or on platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Right, perfect. Mental diet. I like that. But Seemore, your parting shot?
All right. Ngifuna ukusho ukuthi good people, kufanele sikwazi ukuthi there's enough for everyone, right? And kufanele ukwazi ukuthi nawe la ukhona, you are also important. Stop undermining yourself. Stop thinking that you are not enough. Uyadingakala emhlabeni. Play your role. Play your meaningful role. Enye into ebengifisa ukuthi ngiyichaze lana ukuthi njengoba sikhona la emhlabeni, I think i-lockdown isifundisa something different ukuthi mangabe uNkulunkulu ekubusisile, please look around ubheke noma abantu abawu5 ongakwazi ukuthi ube blessing kubona, right? It doesn't have to be a relationship which has to do with imali, but abantu abawu5 ozobanikeza access to impilo yakho khona bezokwazi ukufunda bakhule. Makhona izingane ngasekhaya akube khona ezipholishela izicathulo ukuyikhulisa lokho. Ngelelanga take these kids to cinema, mhlawumbe zifunda icinema zingazathatha abantu abafana bayise cinema bayiuse izingane. Uma ngabe ukuthi unemoto kube khona izingane ezizogezela imoto, iba accessible, thandeka khona uNkulunkulu ezojabula ngawo. uNkulunkulu fanele smile mangabe buka umsebenzi wakho, kungathi mangabe uthi usuya like you are truly blessed, now you become pompous or you become arrogant or usuba untouchable. Thinteka, sondela kubantu ukuze iblessing yakho ikwazi usabalala ifike nawo kwabanye abantu. Ayikho into engeke siyenze. uNkulunkulu akathanda ukuthi sihlupheke ngamasomo, sihlushwa i-attitude sisikade khona ngayo. So we need something called attitudinal change. So ngiyacela good people ukuthi from now onwards indlela esibuka ngakhona izinto sibuke differently. See more possibilities. You are what you see. You are what you eat. Asithandaneni. I wish you nothing less than what you wish for. All the best, good people. This is our time. Even if they are saying it's some sort of like a crisis, when your role is to see an opportunity. Njengamanje ziyakhipha vuka sayijeni sayistere lapho ngasekhaya uphasoba abafana mfana mawubuka lo ungaboni sex objects intombazane mhlawumbe uthi breadwinner mawuyiphazamisa uphazamisa ingane befanele ivuse umuzi kababwayo ngoba naku wena ubone ngathi usithi ifanele ukulalwa nayo. So please kusithandaneni sizoba ngcono. I love you so much, good people.
Social media handles.
All right. Facebook Seemore Nzama as an SIMO Sibongo NZAMA. Social media handle Instagram, it's Seemore Possibilities as in SEEMORE_possibilities. Uzongithola ngidansi vosho noma nini ngisho ukuthi inyanga ayikakapheli. Angina weekend nangomsombuluko. Mongibona ungacela isithombe kuphela uthathe nenumber because ngubhuti wakho ngifuna sisizane nikhona sokhulisana.
Wow, that was a mouthful. Mongibona ungagcini ngokufuna ukuthatha isithombe kuphela, but also get my number so that we can keep in contact. I just would like to end with a verse here, elaziwayo kakhulu, because I do believe that we all have a purpose. So everybody has got a God-given purpose, and the more we try to search that purpose in our lives, we will be able to live a fulfilling life. And so when you are fulfilled, it's easier for you to, make sure that you pour yourself out into other people, because you cannot pour obviously from an empty cup. With Jeremiah 29 verse 11, he says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So it is my prayer this afternoon that we all just lean in. This verse for me, it's on my laptop because I need to be reminded every day that he has good plans for my life. He wants to prosper me. He wants to make sure that I'm hopeful. He wants to make sure that I have a bright future. So it's very important. So I'd just like to extend this verse to everybody that is watching us this afternoon to say, believe this because it is true. It is true. Listen to that inner voice from God. It will direct you always, especially if you are in a space of wanting to assist other people. It's very important because when you say, send me, it's important to understand that he is the one that is going to be sending you. You can never send yourself. So with those words, I'd like to thank you very much, Thandekile and Putsimo. It's been a beautiful sort of journey for both of you, because I know you when you were still in another space, and seeing you transitioning to this space and making this beautiful and amazing impact. Also, I always say that sometimes it's not really easy to be able to be impactful if you do not open yourself up and like sort of allow yourself to be stretched so that uNkulunkulu, as you were saying, can pour in to you for you then to be able to impact other people's lives. So sometimes I think it's important for people to understand that you need to consider stepping out of your comfort zone just so that you can be able to be utilized as a vessel, because comfort zone, we're having these conversations because one is out of the comfort zone. I call my events, I call my conferences. We only have platforms to talk. So here we are. So with those words, I'd like to actually say thank you very much to our guests this afternoon. My name is Zodwa Msimang Umagoje Wagansibande. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us, to all the viewers on our Facebook Live page. And if you obviously missed the live offering, you can get it on our YouTube page, iKhono Thrive Global. So we will be meeting again next week, Thursday. Much love and appreciation. Iyohlangana econtaineni.
Yeah, iKhono Enza Seemore.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.